EU High Representative Kaja Kallas has sharply accused Hungary of breaching the bloc's principle of sincere cooperation after Budapest unexpectedly decided to veto a 90 billion euros loan to Ukraine over an unrelated energy dispute.
It's really regrettable that the decision that all countries reached in the European Council, all the leaders, is now that there is now stepping back from this decision. It's not really in accordance with the sincere cooperation clause that we have in the treaties.
The dispute relates to the Druzhba pipeline, which crosses Ukraine and brings Russian crude oil to Hungary and Slovakia thanks to a sanctions exemption. The pipeline was severely damaged in January by a drone attack attributed to Russia. However, both Hungary and Slovakia have blamed Ukraine for the subsequent halt in deliveries. Hungary has also vetoed a new round of sanctions against Russia. EU lawmakers on Monday moved to suspend the EU-US trade agreement. The United States Supreme Court ruled last week that some of the tariffs imposed in 2025 by Washington were illegal, prompting President Donald Trump to announce fresh 15% duties on imports.
It's clear the legal basis has totally changed, and then we have the introduction of the new tariffs, which are totally different to the old tariffs.
The deal was clinched in July 2025 by Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Trump. It locks in 15% US tariffs on EU exports, while granting zero-duty access to most American goods entering the bloc. Earlier on Monday, EU Trade Chief Šefčovič also held a video call with his G7 counterparts.
What we told them is that for us, the clarity how our deal would be respective, how our 15% all-inclusive tariff would be put in place is of utmost importance, because deal is the deal, and we have to respect it.
MEPs had already frozen the deal once after Trump threatened tariffs on several EU countries if they refused to let him acquire Greenland. Parliamentary work later resumed, and the vote on the deal was planned for Tuesday, but has now effectively been scrapped.
Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó engaged in a heated exchange with Ukrainian journalists in Brussels after his country said it would block an emergency loan for Ukraine as well as sanctions against Moscow. Budapest accused Ukraine of blackmail over a damaged pipeline used for the transit of Russian oil.
Tomorrow we will mark the 4th anniversary of war in Ukraine, and we hear that Hungary plans not just to ban the sanction package but also the loan for Ukraine. As non-Hungarian European, I want to ask you why your country hates Ukraine so much and loves Russia so much.
We don't hate Ukraine. The problem is that the Ukrainian state hates Hungary, and the Ukrainian state carries out an anti-Hungarian political approach for the last 10 years. Ukraine behaves in a very hostile manner towards Hungary. Please ask the Ukrainians why they have stopped the oil deliveries to Hungary. Ask the Ukrainians why they put the security of energy supply of Hungary into risk.
A Ukrainian correspondent then asked him why Hungary continues to buy Russian energy. Szijjártó snapped back, claiming it is Hungary's sovereign right to decide where to purchase energy from.
British police have arrested former UK ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, in a misconduct probe stemming from his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. London Metropolitan Police said its officers had arrested a 72-year-old man on suspicion of misconduct in public office at an address in North London. They did not name him, in keeping with traditional British police practice, but the suspect was already previously identified as Mandelson. Police are investigating him over allegations he had passed sensitive government information to Epstein a decade and a half ago when he served as business secretary under Prime Minister Gordon Brown. His arrest comes 4 days after former Prince Andrew was detained on suspicion of a similar offense related to his friendship with Epstein. Mandelson was fired from his diplomatic post in September after emails were published showing that he had maintained contact with the disgraced financier after his 2008 conviction. Epstein was convicted over charges of sexual offenses involving a minor. Mandelson's ties with Epstein, who died by suicide in 2019 in a New York jail while awaiting trial, was further illustrated after the U.S. Justice Department released millions of documents pertaining to Epstein's case last month. UK police launched a probe into Mandelson shortly after, though the former ambassador does not face allegations of sexual misconduct.
And this is why Sweden and Finland
Postponing sanctions against Russia is a failure for Europe, Sweden's Foreign Minister Maria Malmer Stenergard said on Euronews morning show Europe Today. Her comments come 24 hours after Hungary said it would block any new EU sanctions against Russia at today's meeting of EU foreign ministers until Ukraine resumes oil transit to Hungary and Slovakia via the Druzhba pipeline.
I think it's a shame how they behave. I mean, every delay that we have in the adoption of a sanctions package is a failure for Europe. We need to increase the support for Ukraine. We need to increase the pressure on Russia, hence the sanctions. And I expect them to behave like Europeans today, but I'm not sure.
EU foreign ministers are gathering in Brussels to finalize the 20th round of sanctions against Moscow. The aim was to approve the package in time for Tuesday, marking 4 years since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Last week, Hungary and Slovakia announced they were suspending diesel exports to Ukraine, accusing Kyiv of deliberately restricting Russian oil flows through the Druzhba pipeline. The move risks complicating the unanimity required among all 27 member states to adopt fresh sanctions.
Dutch King Willem Alexander swore in a new minority Dutch coalition government on Monday, led by Rob Jetten, the Netherlands' youngest ever Prime Minister. Jetten and his team of ministers were sworn in the Orange Hall of the Royal Palace Huis ten Bosch in The Hague. The three-party administration, which took 117 days to form, is made up of Jetten's centrist liberal D66 Democrats Party, the centre-right Christian Democrats, and the centre-right People's Party for Freedom and Democracy, VVD. However, with the minority coalition holding only 66 of the lower house of Parliament's 150 seats, Prime Minister Jetten will have to negotiate with opposition lawmakers on each piece of legislation his government proposes. The biggest opposition bloc, the newly merged Green Left and Labour Party, has already expressed strong objections to Jetten's plans to cut healthcare and welfare costs. In October, DC6 narrowly won from the far-right Party for Freedom, PVV, in a nail-bite-and-snap parliamentary election race. The poll was called after PVV withdrew from the previous coalition, the country's most right-wing government in recent history.
Prosecutors at the International Criminal Court told judges on Monday that former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte personally authorized extrajudicial killings. The court in The Hague is holding pretrial hearings for the ex-leader, who's facing 3 counts of crimes against humanity for deadly anti-drugs crackdowns he oversaw while in office.
Mr. Duterte authorized murder and personally selected some of the targets. During the mayoral period, when he was mayor, his clearance was required for the DDS to carry out the killings. Essentially, members of the DDS needed Mr. Duterte's green light to murder.
Duterte's defense attorney said the former leader is not guilty of anything and stands behind his legacy.
Rodrigo Duterte need not convince the world of anything, and that is to his fortunate advantage given his current medical condition. He stands behind his legacy resolutely, and he maintains his innocence absolutely.
Duterte is accused of having masterminded a campaign which killed dozens of people as part of his so-called war on drugs during his time as mayor and later as president. Monday's hearing was not a trial, but allowed prosecutors to outline their case to the court. Judges then have 60 days to decide whether the prosecution's case is strong enough to merit putting the former Philippine leader on trial.
One battle One battle after another took 6 top prizes at the British Academy Film Awards on Sunday. The thriller about a group of revolutionaries starring Leonardo DiCaprio won awards for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Cinematography, Editing, and a Supporting Actor award for Sean Penn.
Anybody that says movies aren't any good anymore just can piss right off, because this is a great fucking year. So, I want to say thank you, and I know that there's a bar somewhere. I think we should all go there. It's been a long evening, but we have so much to celebrate. We have a line from Nina Simone that we stole in our film. She says, "I know what freedom is. It's no fear." So let's keep making things without fear. It's a good idea. See you at the bar. Thank you. Thank you.
The Best Leading Actress award went to Jessie Buckley for her performance in Hamnet as the grieving mother Agnes Hathaway and wife of William Shakespeare. She made history as the first Irish performer to win a Best Actress prize at the BAFTAs.
Robert Aramayo.
In a surprise win, British actor Robert Aramayo took home the award for Best Actor for his performance in I Swear, a fact-based British indie drama about a campaigner for people with Tourette syndrome. He called the victory over major contenders Ethan Hawke, Michael B. Jordan, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Timothée Chalamet.
I absolutely can't believe this. I can't believe that I'm looking at people like you and I'm in the same category of you. Never mind that I'm stood here. Wow, oh my word.
Period vampire epic Sinners received 3 awards, including Best Supporting Actress for Wunmi Mosaku, while table tennis drama Marty Supreme failed to take any prizes.